A number of Dutton family members and the most devoted employees of the Dutton Ranch in Yellowstone have been branded with the ranch's hooked Y emblem. Nevertheless, it is unclear exactly what the Yellowstone brand entails. With its dramatic portrayal of the ruthless American ranching industry, Yellowstone has captured viewers' attention from its premiere. It has been compared to other westerns as well as The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and even Ozark. The ritualistic branding of new members of the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, which is normally only done for cattle and other livestock, is one of the main causes of these parallels. Hand at Yellowstone Dutton Ranch in Yellowstone Season 1, Jimmy Herdstrom, Jefferson White, received the distinction of being branded. The painful brand was applied by Cole Hauser's character, Rip Wheeler. Jimmy's experience first made it seem like a punishment, but it eventually becomes clear that the Y mark gives Jimmy special protection on the ranch. The brand requires a certain amount of deference from those who wear it. However, as demonstrated by Yellowstone Seasons 1 through 5, anyone wearing the brand is supposed to be fully devoted to and accountable for the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. While some actual ranches mark their employees as well, Yellowstone handles the practice with the utmost respect and discretion. In addition to serving an in-narrative function, the brands on the Yellowstone Ranch provide a chick focal point for the program. The branding technique gives Kevin Costner's character, John Dutton, complete authority over the ranch laborers, many of whom are unemployed ex-offenders. A person who has been branded by Yellowstone Dutton Ranch is considered an owner of their life, but it also implies that they are treated as family, and that the ranch will stop at nothing to safeguard its own. Similar to how ranch owners brand their cattle to identify their land and guarantee that branded stock is brought back to the ranch, the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch marks its employees, which has both obligations and benefits. For this reason, the branded ranch worker walker, Ryan Bingham, was returned to the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch for a second chance following a turbulent night in which he got into difficulty and was on the verge of being taken to the train station. Notable, too, is the fact that the rite requires the sacrifice of intense agony. Like the Sardaukar Army in Dune and the Sicilian Mafia, the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch cultivates John Dutton's military allegiance through the enigma of a hidden covenant and the shared experience of pain. Whether worn by Dutton family members or ranch laborers, the Yellowstone mark is fundamentally a symbol of ownership. As a form of discipline, John branded his son Case, Lute Grimes, after he left the ranch to live with Monica, Kelsey Esbill, following her pregnancy with Tate, Reckon Merrill. Since then, Case has accepted his father's actions as forgiven. However, in Yellowstone Season 5, Case opted for Monica and Tate over the Dutton Ranch, following his participation in an indigenous ceremony and receiving future visions from his spirit animal in the Season 4 final. Even if John and Case don't get along well, this shows how little John is prepared to misuse the power of the brand because he doesn't oppose Case's choice. All of the characters branded on Yellowstone are members of the Dutton family's extended kin. This contains Rip, Jimmy, Lloyd Pierce, Forey J. Smith, and Walker in addition to John and Case. In addition, Dutton Ranch hands Teeter, Jennifer Landon, Ryan, Ian Bowman, Colby, Denham Richards, Jake Ream, and Ethan Lee earned their own brands by demonstrating their commitment to the family in the violent Yellowstone Season 3 final. Wade Morrow, Boots Sutherland, a former ranch hand, had a brand as well, but it was taken from his skin after he betrayed the Duttons. The cast of the 1923 Yellowstone spin-off may provide insight into the history of branding at the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. It's probable that Jacob, Harrison Ford, and Cara Dutton started their tiny ranching empire in 1923 as a means of establishing dominance in the face of the unpredictability of the frontier. They went through a lot to build it. The year 1923, which was historically the hardest on record for Montana, would be the ideal setting to explain how Yellowstone's branding ritual got its start. The initial season of 1923 did not explain how, who gave it to, or why the first ranchman at Yellowstone to acquire the brand got it. There's still time for the spin-off 23 to clarify this fascinating bit of Yellowstone lore. Season 2 is already planned. In the Yellowstone universe, there are other spin-offs in the works that preface the main series. It's probable that the custom was adopted at a later point in Dutton's history. There are other shows that could divulge the history of the Yellowstone brand, even if 1923 doesn't. While there are elements of Yellowstone that draw inspiration from real-life events, the branding does not appear to be among them. It is undoubtedly easy to locate instances of branding people throughout history, but the majority of those instances included slaves and criminals receiving the penalty. There don't seem to be any tales of actual cowboys willingly stealing a brand in the course of their work. In fact, the show comes across as a little unrealistic in these scenes. Yellowstone uses brands specifically designed for livestock with thick skin, rather than the characters just downing some whiskey and getting better. Such a brand would do serious harm to a human being and necessitate emergency medical intervention. By alone, the infection risk would not be worth it. The Yellowstone branding, on the other hand, is one implausible component that gives the program an intriguing touch.